All right, this is week 4 on the Horsemen Pro Football Talk podcast. This week in the NFL, the Jags and the Ravens and the Chargers all changed the record books. The Raiders kicked 2 field goals in overtime for their first win at home in front of their fans. All this and more, including reviewing all of next week's upcoming games so you know who to pick, all coming up on this week's edition of the Horsemen Pro Football Talk. All right, here we go. Welcome back to another edition of the Horsemen Pro Football Talk podcast. This is week 3 of the 2021 season, and I'm Brad.
Hefe.
Zach.
All right, we're growing, and we have you to thank for that. You can find us on YouTube at Horsemen Sports. You can find us wherever you download your favorite podcasts. Search for Horsemen Sports there. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Horsemen Sports. Also, you can always catch our show Thursday afternoons at 4 p.m. Eastern Time on WUBI Radio. More information can be found at wubi.live. If you're watching this on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button and the bell icon so you never miss an update. And if you're listening on your favorite podcast platform, head on over to YouTube. Help us out. We appreciate the support. And again, we thank you for supporting us and our growth. And please thank your grandmother for us and continue to tell your friends. So, all right. Record-setting day. Hefe, I told you, there's always a theme, some kind of theme that runs through NFL weekend, and this was record-setting. So first, right out of the gate, we can't not talk about Justin Tucker.
Yeah.
Hitting a booming 66-yard field goal to lift the Ravens over the Lions. Thank God. That might have just they saved Ravens fans everywhere from embarrassment today, for sure. 66 yards, man. It hit the crossbar and went through. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, and when it was happening, I thought, like, in my head, I was thinking the only kicker in the NFL that I would trust to hit this kick is Justin Tucker. And like you said, it hits the crossbar. Like, he had just enough. Like, 66 looks to be his max because that thing hit the crossbar and went in. And I watched when Matt Prater originally broke the record. I think it was a 65-yarder at this point, maybe even 10 years ago. It was a while back now. But, watching Justin Tucker hit that, especially to beat the Lions, like you said, if they would have lost, that would have been pretty much the equivalent of the Colts losing to the Jags in week 1 last year. And, would have been bad news, the Ravens starting 1-2. But Justin Tucker saves them with a huge kick.
Yeah. And we'll get to Matt Prater in a minute because I want to bring him up. But the Lions were millimeters away from winning this game. Millimeters. If you watch the replay, if that ball is back a half an inch, it doesn't go in. I mean, it's crazy how close. And pro sports, they're always measured in inches, not yards. But just absolutely crazy. The jury is still out whether Dan Campbell can turn this franchise around, but I want to take a second to give him some props. This Lions team is playing their ass off. I can't say I'm impressed with anything except their effort. I mean, and I don't mean to knock them with I mean, I'm telling you, they are overachieving right now, and I hope he is the answer. I don't think he is, but that's early. I really don't have a whole lot just other than instinct. Been watching this game a long time. I just don't think it is. But and I'm still not buying one of those bite their kneecaps off sweatshirts they're selling up in Detroit that you can probably get on Amazon. Anyway, so congrats to Justin Tucker and the Ravens. Big win to keep them battling, keep them at first. I don't want to be over dramatic. It's week 3, but they're at the top of the AFC North, 3-way tie. In a mildly related story, speaking of Matt Prater and the battle of long-range kickers, is what I'm calling it today. evidently the Cardinals hate Justin Tucker, and they don't want him to be happy. So they sent Matt Prater out to attempt to kick a 68-yard field goal. Did you know that? Did you know that there was a 68-yard attempt?
No, I hadn't heard that.
Yeah. And he hit the franchise record 62-yarder last week. Anyway, he fell way short. And instead of the Cardinals setting a record and telling Justin Tucker to sit the fuck down, they proceeded to help Jamal Agnew of the Jaguars set a record, sliding and dicing, stumbling, bumbling his way all the way to a 109-yard touchdown. And I was giving this some thought last night. The only way to ensure your name is never erased from the NFL record books is to run a 109-yard touchdown. Everything else has a potential to be broken and erased, but you can never beat that. So his name is in the NFL record books forever. So big congrats to him. There are three people. Jamal Agnew yesterday ran the missed field goal return. Cordarrelle Patterson had a 109-yard kick return, and Antonio Cromartie had a missed field goal return for 109 yards. So good on him. Whatever you do, your name's in concrete forever in the NFL. That's a pretty cool thing to stand by.
Yeah, that's great.
I was in a bar and watching the games, and a bunch of obnoxious Ravens fans start screaming so obnoxiously loud and running all over the bar, high-fiving each other. And I turned around and I saw they kicked field goal, and I was like, okay, so they beat the Lions on a field goal. It's kind of cool. I didn't realize. So for the judgment I passed on the Ravens fans in the bar yesterday, I want to apologize. I would have been acting like a jackass too. That was pretty cool to watch that happen. So, all right, I want to take a quick second to hit the Pigskin Pick'em results for this week. Big shout out. We have a tie for first. We still have Monday night game. I don't know who picked what, but as of right now, it's Todd Haney and Trey. T. Haney 44 and Trey's picks are tied for first place, and we'll see how that shakes out. Big shout out to them. And I'm getting better, but I don't know. Sounds like a personal problem. I'll work on that. All right. So you guys ready to get in the games?
Let's go for it.
All right. So to continue with the craziness for the season, both Super Bowl teams lost yesterday. And your undefeated teams that remain are the Rams. No one's really shocked there. The Panthers, the Broncos, the Raiders, and the Cardinals. Not the Bucks, not the Chiefs, not the Bills, not the Packers, but the Panthers, Broncos, Raiders, and Cardinals. I wonder how many of those eliminator seasons are over already. They usually don't make it past like week 7 anyway. They're probably a bunch of them are just done. Everybody's already lost.
Yeah, I was out week 1, and the one I did picked Jacksonville.
You tried to go because you can't pick the same team twice, right?
Yeah. So I went with Jacksonville over Houston week 1 and completely bombed that. Yeah. So done.
Well, Jacksonville's going to 0-17. I don't see them winning a game. All right. So other than the record-breaking return, the Jags continue to flounder at the bottom of the league, right? Going for 0-17. I guess they need another number 1 pick to go with their number 1 quarterback. You know who else is at the bottom of the league winless? The Lions, the Giants, the Jets, and the Colts.
Yep.
0-3 for the first time in a decade. I expected most of those, other than really the Giants. That surprised me a little bit. But with what the NFC East is doing, they're picking up where they left off last year. But the Colts, man, it's killing me. I heard yesterday the Colts are the first team to play 7 teams with over 10 wins from the previous season in the past 30 years. I don't know if that's true. The guy at the bar told me that, but it's a guy who's been on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and he like wins trivia every time he goes to the bar and plays trivia. So I believe him. The scariest part is that they're not only 0-3, but they could drop the next two if they don't get their red zone problem figured out and start 0-5. And then they could potentially drop the next 2 out of 3. They could be 1-7 through the first 8 games. This is scary. I don't think they will, and I don't believe they belong at the bottom of this list. Injuries, circumstances, Wentz not getting reps, but it doesn't matter. It's like last year, we thought the Bears were 5-0, and we kept talking about they had no business being undefeated. They were the worst of the best. And the Colts are far better than the best of the worst. So, I mean, I don't know. Only W's and L's count. So Reich better find a way to fix it, or it'll be over in a matter of games. If it isn't already, we're in a lot of trouble. I'm disappointed because the potential's there, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Go ahead, Jeff.
The saving grace for that situation right now, even though we're 0-3, if you think back a couple of years ago, the Colts started 1-5, went on a run, made the playoffs. So there's still a chance, especially with the added game. It's 17 games, not 16. So there's an extra chance there to get some wins in the back half of the Colts schedule. If they can get, 2 or 3 wins, and then get some guys back from injury throughout these next, 4, 5, 6 weeks, the back end of their schedule is pretty easy. So hopefully they can make a run and get it done.
Yeah, and we've been through that in the preseason. What scares me is now we have. Yesterday might have been the division. It's early, but that hurt really bad with the circumstances the way they are. That hurts. The other thing that hurts are the fucking Broncos and the Raiders. You've got these teams coming out of nowhere who suddenly look really good in the AFC, and it's going to make fighting for a wild card spot really, really hard. I think the only good thing of that, unfortunately for me, is that the Dolphins aren't going to do as well as I thought they were going to do this year. I'll talk about that in a minute. But I just Reich's got to get it. He's got to get it turned around. They got to get it figured out. And I think he's the man for it. But people are calling for his job already.
Yeah, I don't think he has. I don't think he should lose his job. But I will admit I'm beginning to get a little nervous about his play calling. There was an instance. I mean, this happens every game. I know we have red zone problems, which is essentially play calling. But there was a specific drive this past game where the Colts were just rushing right down the field, and the Titans couldn't stop them. Then we get in the red zone and we abandon the run, and we try to just air it out, and it didn't work. And there was a specific play I remember thinking, you're within the 10-yard line, and you have Nyheim Hines in there. And trust me, I love Nyheim Hines. I understand the threat he provides. But they handed it off to him. They ran it with him. And I know that you're thinking, oh, the defense, it's Nyheim Hines, you're going to play action, boot out, do something. So you're anticipating the defense to not defend the run. But is that little trickery where you're actually handing off to Nyheim Hines within the 10-yard line outweigh the chance that Jonathan Taylor can make a play with the Titans knowing he's going to get the ball? So that's just the kind of stuff I'm not really agreeing with Frank Reich right now. And it's proven we're 0-3, and we had problems with it all last year too. So I'm kind of getting nervous about his play calling ability.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. And I've seen people raise the question of who is really running the offense, and do we have too many Chiefs over there? I don't know. I hope it's just getting Wentz integrated into the offense and getting everybody to gel and starting to figure out personnel and what to do here and there.
I think it's a big combination of trying to get Wentz and the chemistry built up. All the injuries we're having, we were missing 2 starting offensive linemen on an already shaky offensive line. So there's a lot of pieces that aren't gelling together that should be gelling together. But we are still in these games. We could have beaten the Rams. We could have beaten the Seahawks if we didn't give up, 2-3 touchdowns off huge plays. And this Titan game, we were pretty competitive starting off too. So the Colts are still in the games, and they can get these wins, I think, by making better decisions, not trying to overdo it, not trying to get too cute while we're out there. Like, go back to the fundamentals and just play the game. And run the ball when it's working, pass the ball when it's working. Just stick to the game plan and just roll with that instead of trying to get all cute. And I think the Colts will benefit more while we wait for these other pieces to all come together, which I think will happen. The Colts will get better. But like you said, Jeff and I talked about this the other night, that this was a huge game with the Titans. And if the Colts don't win it, they're essentially down 3.5 games because the Titans on the tiebreaker and the Titans beat the Seahawks.
Right.
The Colts lost to the Seahawks. So that was a huge game.
Yeah, huge game. A lot of ground to make up there. And then, like I said, you throw those the Broncos and the Raiders there, because crazier things have happened. The Chiefs are going to rebound. We know they're going to rebound, right? But and the Ravens are going to rebound, and you got all your division. The Browns are going to win their division. Ravens are going to rebound. Browns may win the division. Browns or Ravens probably going to win. Let's go that route. One of the others probably going to make the playoffs. I mean, it just gets real crowded real quick. Mm-hmm. And I would just hate to see, like the Dolphins last year. The Dolphins belonged in the playoffs last year. I would hate to see the Colts just miss it by one game. Rebound enough to win it. They're good enough to, because they almost won these games. They just got to get this. They got to get it sorted out. So. Yep. All right, let's move on to the Jags and the Bengals. The Jags are bad, real bad. Lawrence will have a new coach next year and a new team in a couple of years. We all know that. But Joe Burrow is giving Bengals fans hope. On the other side of the bar were the obnoxious Bengals fans, and they were obnoxious all day, and I don't blame them. You got to love it when fans get suffer a long time and they get treated. Burrow's giving them hope. He's getting it done. Their Bengals are in a 3-way tie right now for the AFC North. I don't think it'll last, but who am I, right? They got a big division win over the Steelers yesterday. I'm taking the Bengals this week.
And for me, when I look at the Bengals, I look at all the defensive pieces that they brought in the offseason and how every week it seems like their defense is getting better. Those pieces, all those guys are getting acclimated to this system, and the communication between all of them is going to get better every week. And as they continue to get better, they have to come in on a short week, but luckily it's against a team like the Jaguars, who, like you said earlier, have the best chance of going 0-17 from what we've seen so far. So I think Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, hopefully T. Higgins can play. They held him out of this last game. I like this offense a lot more with T. Higgins in there. But I don't think there's any way the Jags win this game. I'm taking the Bengals.
Yeah, we said last week that don't be surprised if the Bengals beat the Steelers, and they did just that, and they did it pretty handsomely, 24-10. I like Joey Burrow. He's playing well. He was 10 for 18, 3 touchdowns and an interception last game. Jags are just awful, so I'm going Bengals as well.
Just a side note, their head coach is on the hot seat when this started. He's not out of the woods, but he only has like a 6-25 record. So this is a big turnaround for them. I'm interested. You know how I like to watch coaches and how things develop. I'm not a Bengals fan by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm curious. I'm going to be watching to see what happens, and I hope. You know how I feel. I like everybody to be good. I'd like everybody to be right around 500. I think it would just make the game so much more exciting. So, good on the Bengals. I hope they continue to get better. Not this year though. The Colts need all the help they can get to get in the playoffs. So I prefer the Bengals wait until next year to get really good. All right, we're all three taking the Bengals. Washington football team at the Falcons. Yeah, the Falcons got their first win against the lowly Giants. But, on the flip side of that, Washington football team got their ass handed to them by the Buffalo Bills, the ridiculous Buffalo Bills, AFC champion Buffalo Bills going to play the NFC champion. Oh, I can't. I'm getting ahead of myself. I don't want to show all my cards early. Dude, the Bills, they whipped Washington's ass. This game with Washington and the Falcons has me perplexed. I expected better out of Washington at this point, and not as I wouldn't have been surprised if the Falcons didn't win one. The Falcons are home, but I still believe that Washington is better than Atlanta overall. So I'm not going with the home team this week. I'm going to take Washington on the road.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to agree with you. I don't know what was going on for the Giants in that Falcons game. They just can't get it going on offense, which seems to be a theme with the teams that are 0-3 right now. You got to be able to put the ball in the end zone. And, for as bad as the Falcons defense is supposed to be, the Giants weren't able to get that done. But I think Taylor Heineke and Terry McLaurin and Antonio Gibson, I think they're going to be able to tear through this Atlanta Falcons defense. And I don't know if this game is going to be very close. I think Washington's going to have an easy time in this one.
Yeah, so I'm going with you guys and 73% of America and the world for that matter. I'm going with Washington.
All right. So we're all three taking Washington. All right. Next game is Texans at the Bills. God help the Texans. This is going to be – it was Josh Allen's quarterback camp this month. Last week was part one. This week is going to be part two. He was 32 for 43 with 358 yards and 4 touchdowns. That may be 450 yards and 7 touchdowns this weekend. If it weren't for the Jags, the Texans would be 0-3. I don't think I have to say this, but I'm taking the Bills, and you should too.
Yeah, I would have to agree. There's really no way I see the Texans winning this game. Josh Allen finally came out, had a huge game. They leaned on him most of the game. They started running Zach Moss more, and they're using him in the pass game. I think that's going to be important for them as they go through the year. So right now their defense looks crazy. I think they're going to be able to shut down this rookie quarterback, and another easy win for the Bills coming up.
Yeah, we've been waiting on Josh Allen to explode, and it finally happened. So I think that trend will continue. I'm taking the Bills.
Yeah, explode he did, and I don't think there's any going back. I don't. Based off what we saw last year, I think he just opened the can of whoop ass, and it's going to spill out all over the place.
Yeah, MVP Josh Allen's coming out, and he's here to stay.
I think you're right. Okay, we're all three taking the Bills, and as I said, you should too. All right, next up is the Lions at the Bears. A big NFC North division game, I guess. I don't know. It's early. Everybody's crowded. Bears are home, but poor Fields, man. That guy. He had a really rough day yesterday. As I was reading about last night that he was only 6-20 for the game. That Zach, that's when you sent that graphic that he had 1 yard passing, and I should have looked. Is that
I think
an NFL record?
I think he had 68, but
the negative.
Yeah, it ended up being a total of 1 yard.
Yeah, Hefe, you said he was sacked 9 times.
Sacked 9 times in that game.
Yeah. Nagy's got to go, man.
Yeah, it's Dan Orlovsky was talking about it earlier, and I mean, he had a good point. You've had 100 and something days since you drafted Justin Fields to come up with an offensive game plan for him, and what you came up with only allowed you to get 47 total yards on offense. That's unacceptable. So Nagy's out. Yeah,
and probably it might be sooner rather than later. We probably should have checked the Bears website today. He might have been fired this morning after that.
They should have been.
I feel sorry for the kid. You just don't know. I've talked about this over and over. You don't know if they're going to survive in the league, but sometimes careers are in it because they're playing for jackasses, and I hate to see it. And I hope that they get a change and Fields gets a chance to show us what he can do. If he's not good enough, he's not good enough. But damn, if he's good enough, give him a chance to do something. Anyway, the Lions aren't the Browns, but they're hungry, man. And this whole Dan Campbell thing, I don't know if he's the savior of the franchise, but they're biting kneecaps. So that could be the way he has them playing. That kind of effort doesn't automatically translate to wins in this league. We know that. I mean, there's just too much talent, but damn sure it doesn't hurt. And it might be just enough to win this game. Dalton's return might change that, but I have a feeling that the Bears are on the backslide and they're not going to recover, and it's just going to do nothing but continually get worse. So right now I'm going with the power of believing in your coach, and I'm going with the Lions.
Interesting. I thought I was going to be alone on this one because I happen to agree. I think the Bears are in full blown not panic mode, but just everything seems like it's about to explode there. Right? It's a ticking time bomb. Like you said, Matt Nagy has to go. I was just talking a couple days ago with somebody about that. Matt Nagy has been the problem there for years. He's just got to go. And Dan, like you mentioned, Dan Campbell has the Lions playing with heart. They're putting up a fight in pretty much every game so far. The Green Bay game got a little out of hand late after it started raining, and Jared Goff started turning the ball over a little bit. But I think we'll have to see what happens with Khalil Mack. I think that's a big piece in this. That defense without Khalil Mack for the Bears was god-awful yesterday. So hopefully he comes back for them. That gives them a fighting chance. But kind of either way, I think it's time for Dan Campbell and the Lions to finally get a win.
Hey, it's unanimous. I'm going with the Lions as well.
All right. Hear that, Brian? We're all three picking the Lions. And at this point, when Dan Campbell came in and was, screaming and yelling and I was just like, what is going on? But if this guy's loving, that's enough for me. I hope the guy gets a win this week. I'm rooting for the Lions. I'm in. I'm rooting for the Lions.
Yeah, maybe the first time in my life. Probably the last too, but we'll see.
All right. Next game up is Panthers at the Cowboys. So we're recording on Monday afternoon. We still don't know how the Cowboys and the Eagles game is going to go down tonight. And I'm excited. I'm curious to see what's going to happen. I'm curious to see if the Eagles aren't as bad as I thought they were, and if the Cowboys are going to be as good or better than I thought they were, or if we're just going to, if the NFC East is going to just be a floundering bowl of microwave dog shit like it was last year. But dude, the Panthers are 3-0 and it's sole possession of the first place in the NFC South right now. I'm getting Panther fever, man. And the Broncos too. I'm going to talk about them too. But I get excited when teams when they just like we're talking about the Lions. I like to watch franchises build themselves, and I don't know if what we're seeing in Carolina is that we've seen a full resurrection of Sam Darnold. I don't know if the full franchise is being resurrected. I don't know if Matt Rule is the answer, and I was completely wrong. But I'm on board. I'm excited to watch. I don't know if they're a playoff team riding high on their wins. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to wait to see what happens tonight. I'm not sure the Panthers can keep winning. This may be the week. Cowboys might be the team to do it. So right now, I'm going with the Cowboys. After all that, I'm going with the Cowboys, but I'm reserving the right to change my mind after I watch the game tonight.
And I think this is going to be a tough game for the Panthers to go through. I think without Christian McCaffrey, it changes that offense. We saw it after he went out in their last game that the offense just got more sluggish. But at the end of the game, they started figuring it out. And look, they have enough wide receivers there that they like and that they can use. DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson, Terrence Marshall. I think they can still be explosive. Chuba Hubbard has been in that system. He was there last year, so hopefully he'll be able to come in and kind of do what Mike Davis did for the Panthers, still be productive. Hopefully they can win some games. That defense for the Panthers is looking really good right now. And that's the reason I am going with the Panthers, whether, no matter how good Dallas looks, I expect Dallas to beat the Eagles tonight. So I think the Panthers are going to be able to come in. I think they're going to play really good defense and be able to put enough points up and beat Dak Prescott and the Cowboys.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with Jeff here. The Panthers defense is the best defense in the league right now, and that's saying something. They've been playing lights out. The offense is gelling even without CMC. I think they'll still do all right, so I have them beating the Cowboys.
All right. So two of us are taking the Panthers, and one of us is still reserving the right to wait and see what happens. But those were both pretty solid arguments, so I'll keep those in mind as I'm watching the game tonight as well. All right. Colts at the Dolphins. Both teams are not living up to their potential. The Dolphins are 1-2. We all three of us expected more, but on the flip side of that, the Raiders are hot. The Raiders are real hot right now. They might be the hottest team in the league at the moment, and that's a bold statement considering talking about the Panthers and the Broncos. And I have to give it up to Jacoby Brissett. He played competitively yesterday. I didn't watch hardly any of the Bucs-Rams game because I was so glued to this game. I couldn't stop watching this game. Damn near got a big win on the road against, like I said, one of the hottest teams in the league. And so much Colts fans are back at it. I saw someone on social media saying that Reich should be fired for getting rid of Brissett. It's never going to stop, is it? They love Jacoby Brissett, but the interesting thing is that let me say something else before I come back to that. Brissett was 32 for 49, 215 yards, solid game, but not spectacular. I mean, but he played well, and he managed the game really well. He didn't have any passing touchdowns, I don't think, but he played smart. He played hard. He wanted to win. And I salute that. I forgot. I also saw a Colts fan say that the Colts are stupid for not taking Trevor Lawrence. I wasn't sure how that was going to work out, but anyway, I think the Tua era is over. I think it's over. Tua's out with a rib injury. It's leaked out into the media that Flores wanted Justin Herbert. Did you guys know that?
No, I hadn't heard that before.
Yeah. And he was not consulted on the move, and or his word didn't carry any weight. He wanted Herbert. Tua's hurt again. And I don't think, after watching what I saw yesterday with Jacoby Brissett, I was impressed. I'm telling you, I was impressed. I don't think Brissett's the answer either. I don't think he's a franchise quarterback. I think he's a consummate backup, somebody you can really depend on. But I think if Tua's in that game yesterday, the Dolphins have no chance. It doesn't happen like it did yesterday. And if Jacoby Brissett, it gives you the better option to win over a number one draft pick, then you need to shit can him. You need to make a move and move on. I expect that to happen. I don't think Tua will be the guy. Brissett may be. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think Tua's time is coming to an end, especially if Jacoby Brissett can figure out a way to get a couple wins, right? But I think with what they have invested in Tua and what they've invested in the team around Tua, I think whenever he gets healthy, they're going to put him back in there and hope he can do it. But I just don't think he'll be able to. So I could see by the end of the year, maybe the last 5-6 games, Jacoby Brissett's back in the lineup and starting every week for the Dolphins, and they're looking for an alternative to Tua at that point.
Yeah, great point. I agree. All right. So anyway, Colts have issues. Injuries continue. They can't convert in the red zone. we've been through all that earlier in the show. The clock is ticking. They don't have much more room for error. Unfortunately, we talked about that too. For now, I have to go with what I've been shown. I mean, the Colts are on the road. The Dolphins almost beat the red hot Raiders with Jacoby Brissett. He's going to get the start again, playing against his old team. He's going to be fired up. I don't know if that's going to translate into anything positive, but he's going to be ready to play. He wants to win this game. So I don't see the Colts beating the Dolphins, and I'm taking the fish.
Yeah, this one here was a coin toss for me, which hurt my soul. So coming into the year, I thought this was a for sure win. But I think the Colts defense with Xavier Rhodes back in the lineup yesterday, the Colts defense played pretty well. Obviously Derrick Henry did what Derrick Henry always does, got 100 yards against us. But they were able to get turnovers in this game. They had a couple interceptions. They were getting pressure on Tannehill, which forced the interceptions. There was one that was thrown right at Darius Leonard, but it was because of the pressure. And I thought that was the first time this year that the Colts were able to get pressure, which is going to make me question what's going to happen with Kwity Paye. Because after he got hurt, we started pressuring the quarterback more. I thought that was interesting and something to look at in the future. But hopefully, my hope here as a Colts fan is that the Colts defense is going to be able to play well enough and put enough pressure on Jacoby Brissett to make him make a couple mistakes. Like we continue to talk about, the Colts have to work on what they're doing in the red zone, and assuming that this team has taken the accountability and gotten better in the past, I think they're going to continue to work on what they need to work on and hopefully be a little better on offense, at least good enough to be able to beat the Dolphins this weekend.
Yeah, I agree with Hefe. The Dolphins' defense isn't the defense that they were last year, and I don't know if Jacoby Brissett can have another game like he did last week, especially with this Colts defense that just finally showed up and put it to the Titans' offense. So I think the Colts will start to make steps forward offensively. So I am taking Indianapolis over Miami in Miami this week.
All right, we got a split decision. See how things see how it plays out. And I don't pick against the Colts lightly. I'm struggling being a Dolphins fan and a Colts fan with what's happening right now. And now they both need a win, and they get to play each other, and I get to try to pick a winner. That's enough to send you into NFL tailspin depression. So
I'll tell you what, if the Colts have any chance of winning a game, they need to give Jonathan Taylor the ball more than 10 times. Unacceptable when you have somebody like that. You only give him the ball 10 times. You got to be better.
Agreed.
Yeah, definitely agreed. All right, next up, Browns at the Vikings. You know what I got to say about that? Them Vikings. They did it to me again. It was yesterday. You sent me a message yesterday, didn't you, Hefe?
Yep.
Tell everybody what you told me yesterday.
That I'm always picking the opposite.
And the Browns fans better beware, because I'm picking the Browns this week. And the Vikings always do the opposite of what I choose. True story. It's the most ridiculous thing ever. I just told a Vikings fan on Facebook that this morning. I was like, I'm trying to like them, but they're just not helping. They just keep doing the opposite of what I say. Anyway, Jeff, Hefe, you're going to have to put your money where your mouth is, because I'm taking the Browns this week.
Yeah, it's going to be really hard to take the Vikings here. I mean, the saving grace for the Vikings, right, is that they've been in two very close games, just didn't finish it out late, but they were able to get a good win this last week. Can I take them? I don't know. Kirk Cousins is coming off his best game as a Viking, arguably. But I like the Browns, and I like the Browns defense. I like the Browns defense a lot. And I think they're going to be able to disturb Kirk Cousins in this one and make it tough. It'll remain seen if Dalvin Cook is playing. He was a late scratch for this last game, and they were still able to get a win without him. Alexander Mattison filled it beautifully and had a great game for the Vikings. So I think this is going to be another good game. I think this is going to be a game where the Vikings are in it at the end and have a chance to at least come close and win this game. But I might change my answer because of what happens with you and the Vikings, but right now I'm going with the Browns.
Yeah, it's hard not to go with the Browns. The Browns are one of the hottest teams in the league. Although they're 2-1, they could be 3-0. But their confidence is building every single week, and they played very, very well last weekend. So I'm sticking with the Browns.
All right, we're all three taking the Browns. Next game is the Giants and the Saints. Winston protected the ball football yesterday. It wasn't a stellar day for him, but he had no interceptions, and they did what they needed to do to win on the road in New England, and that's not an easy feat. I don't care who you are. I mean, I don't care how good the Patriots are. They're still hard to beat, and they're hard to beat in Foxborough. So there's no way that the mess that's going on in New York, the New York Giants, I'm sorry I had to make that distinction because there's two shit messes going on up there. There's no way the shit Giants roll into New Orleans and beat this Giants squad trying to find their identity with a coach like Sean Payton. The Saints are a little up and down, but this is a game that I don't think they can lose. I'm picking the Saints.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with the Saints too. The Giants just don't look, their defense doesn't look anything like it did last year. They returned so many players on that defense, and they don't look anything like last year. James Bradbury has been more of a liability after being one of the best corners in the league last year. Not really sure what happened there. But the Saints got their coaches back on the sideline. Well, 4 of the 7 coaches back on the sideline. They'll have all their coaches back this upcoming week against the Giants. They look like a completely different team again. Maybe they fall back into old Jameis and he turns the ball over, 3 or 4 times in this game. You really just don't know with him. But I have faith that Sean Payton and his coaches can get this team ready to go against the Giants and get another win.
Yeah, Joe Judge's hot seat's going to be getting a little hotter after they fall to 0-4 this week.
Very well said, short and sweet. Pretty much sums the whole thing up. All right, we are all three taking the Saints, and you should too. All right, Titans at Jets. I could start this with we're all three taking the Titans, and you should too. The Titans are tightening up. See what I did there? Titans need to upgrade some things. Tannehill and Henry they're just gonna destroy the Jets. They're just gonna blow them apart. Wilson will probably struggle again, even though the Titans defense, isn't exactly in the top 10. But I'm definitely taking the Titans.
Yeah, it's another game. I don't think it's going to be close. I think Derrick Henry is going to have a huge day. It remains to be seen what's going on with A.J. Brown. He's week to week right now. Julio Jones got pulled out of that game late. I'm not real sure what's going on. They didn't have an answer during the broadcast. So, got to see what's going on with them, but I don't think it really matters. I think one way or another, the Titans are going to roll the Jets this week.
Yeah, I think Zach Wilson will have a little bit of better game than he has in the past couple of weeks, but they're not going to be able to beat the Titans.
Yeah. Sorry, Benjamin. We're all three taking the Titans, and you should too. All right, next game is Chiefs at the Eagles. Dude, can the Eagles win this game?
No.
Okay. All right. Chiefs are 1-2. Both losses were against arguably good teams, but I can't help but wonder if their confidence is rattled. We've talked a lot. I keep bringing up the Tuck rule and Tom Brady, but it's the best example that I have. Wins and losses do strange things to your mind. It's like a race car driver when they have their first nasty wreck. It changes how they drive, and I don't know what's going on in KC, and I don't know if Mahomes, and I don't want to paint a bleak picture like this guy's career is over. I don't believe that whatsoever. I'm just wondering if the confidence has taken a couple nicks, and they're just not, last year they thought they couldn't lose, and they played like they couldn't lose all year long. They're not playing like that right now. So I I think they're going to get turned around, and when playoff time comes, they'll have it all together. So I don't mean to set off alarm, but the Eagles have nothing to lose. I don't know what's going to happen tonight, but I'm taking the Chiefs. I can only make that argument so much. I'm taking the Chiefs.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard not to take the Chiefs here. We obviously haven't seen the Eagles play the Cowboys on Monday Night Football, but I just don't think there's any way the Chiefs let themselves get to 1-3. There's so much talent on that roster. Whatever they're doing on defense, they have to change something. But they have a really good defensive coordinator, so they should be able to figure something out. Because their secondary's been leaky. I heard that they put Chris Jones on defensive end, and I thought that was questionable. I think he's one of the best interior defensive linemen in the league. It helps in the run game, obviously. He's a good pass rusher from the inside. So hopefully they move him back in there, keep him in there permanently. He's not Aaron Donald. There's only one Aaron Donald. So, keep Chris Jones where he's at on that defense. But they just have to be better. They have to execute better. But like the Colts, the Chiefs have played a couple of really good teams. Obviously they lose a heartbreaker to Baltimore. The Chargers look really good right now. So, I don't think it's full panic mode for them. Andy Reid is a great coach. Patrick Mahomes, one of the best in the game. So I'm going to take the Chiefs over the Eagles this weekend.
Yeah, the Chiefs will be all right. They need to get back to fundamental football. They have their whole superstar mentality. Patrick Mahomes out there doing his no-look passes, but he's not connecting with them. So you got to get back to the fundamentals, just make the plays, and let your game do the talking for you. I think the Chiefs will do that. Their defense is not very good, which is why they are 1-2. But I think they'll stir some things up, and they should be able to beat the Eagles this weekend.
All right, we all three agree. We're all three taking the Eagles. Next up,
The
Cardinals.
Chiefs.
Oh, what the hell? See, there you go. Watch what happens this weekend.
Yeah. You put it out there.
I don't know where that came from. That's the unconscious speaking through me right there. That's a soothsayer in me.
Oh God.
All right, next game up is Cardinals at the Rams. Big NFC West matchup. Battle the unbeatens. I mean, right on paper, this looks like a big game. It is a big game. The Cardinals are hot, but dude, the Rams are legit. In my book, right now, they are the top Super Bowl champion candidate for me at the moment. It's too early to go that far. So many things can change because it's a long season, but I have bought into what's going on in Los Angeles. So I'm taking the Rams this week.
Yeah, the Cardinals struggling with the Vikings 2 weeks ago, and then for much of the game against the Jags, being either down or right in the same range. It wasn't always a 2-score game. It was a pretty close game for most of it. So when you struggle with two teams like that back to back, and you go up against the powerhouse that is the Rams. I mean, the offense is incredible. The defense is top 5 again. They're probably going to be one of those teams that's top 5, maybe even top 3 all year long in offense and defense. So the Rams, right now look to me like a team that might even be able to go 17-0. They're that damn good. So I have them obviously beating the Cardinals this week.
Yeah, I said a few weeks ago that the Rams, don't be surprised if the Rams and the Bills are the two that end up in the Super Bowl, and both of them have been playing like that, especially this last weekend. So Rams are riding high. Offense is great. Defense is great. I'm taking the Rams.
All right. We're all three in agreement. We're all three taking the Rams, and you should too. All right. The Seahawks at the 49ers, another big NFC West matchup. This one will be, I think, a little more hotly contested than the other one will be. It could be a really, really good game. Niners look good against Green Bay and damn near pulled off the win. I was rooting for Jimmy G. Sorry, Zach, but I really, I like Jimmy G. But and they were literally 1 second from winning. I mean, they almost didn't get the spike down to get that kickoff. It was so close. But with all things being said, I think the Niners are better, and the Niners are home, so I'm going with them this week.
Yeah, I'm really this is one of those coin flip games for me. It seems to be for a lot of people. It's 53% of people are on the Seahawks, 47 on the 49ers. And you know, this is one of those where I think it really just comes down to who has the home field advantage, especially with the fans back. I think these two teams are pretty evenly matched. Um, you know, I don't know. It's hard to go against Russell Wilson, right? I want to go with the Seahawks and say that they'll get to 2-2, but I also feel like the 49ers put up a great fight against the Packers, who I think are one of the best teams in the league. So I'm going to have to go with Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers this week.
Yeah, I just don't think the Seahawks are good at all. I think they're very overrated. I don't think they're gonna their record will reflect that at the end of the season. You can mark my words on that. So I think the Niners are one of the better teams in the league, and I'm taking them all day.
All right, we're all three in agreement. We're all three taking the Niners. The next game is the Ravens at the Broncos. Is this our game of the week?
Might be. It's definitely the Broncos' first real test.
I don't know that Bucks Patriots game.
Yeah, well,
that's maybe not competitively, but
yeah,
hype wise.
Exactly from a viewership. But I think this may be a dogfight right here. This will tell us this is a football fans game right here, because this is going to tell us a lot about both of these teams by the time this game is done. Are the Broncos legit? I don't know. We're going to find out. And are the Ravens ready to get their head on straight and become the dominant AFC team that we've expected them all year to be? The Broncos are good. We just don't know how yet. And the Ravens, I mean, they almost lost to the Lions. Thank God they got some freak ass kicker that can boot it a ridiculous number. I still can't believe he hit a 66-yarder, but I don't know. But with that said, in this league, a W is a W. It's the only thing that counts. So I'm not taking that away from the Ravens at all. Good teams find a way to win in the end, and they found a way to win. So, but this isn't Detroit. This is Mile High. There's thin, and the Broncos fans know they may be onto something. They're going to be rabid, obnoxious, foaming at the mouth. The Broncos know they're onto something. Bridgewater has them believing. And I know, Zach, you said earlier that the Panthers are the number one defense in the league. There's some websites that disagree with you and think the Broncos are the number one defense in the league. So we'll call that an even, and we'll say one of the top defenses in the league. So I'm taking the Broncos.
Yeah, there's 75% of the people on the ESPN Pigskin Pick are taking the Ravens. And I understand, right? They barely beat the Lions, but they also beat the Chiefs the week before. It's hard not to go with the Ravens. It doesn't feel like they would have been a team that starts 2-2, but like you said, the Broncos at home in Mile High, with as good as that defense is, I think they'll be able to lock up the receivers. Not that the Ravens passing game is really something that people fear anyways. But also Von Miller is back to looking like the old Von Miller, and he's tearing it up in the run game and the pass game. And I think the Broncos are really good offensively and really good defensively. And, maybe if the Ravens were at home, I picked them, but the Broncos got that advantage, so I'm taking the Broncos in what should be a very good game.
Yeah, this game's a toss-up for me, to be honest with you. Like Brad was saying, the Ravens have been finding a way to win. I know it's just the Lions, but they found a way to win, and that's what good teams do. The Broncos, I have also previously said that they are extremely talented. This defense is going to be very good. They are one of the best in the league. However, there are 3 wins. Their opponent's combined record right now is 0-9. So I don't know if I can measure just how good they are off the 3 games they have played just yet. This will be a true measuring test to see how good they are against this Ravens team. So it will be a good game to watch. But because the Broncos are 0-9 and the Ravens' confidence is building and they're finding ways to win, I'm going to go with the Ravens and watch Justin Tucker be the first one to hit over a 70-yard field goal in Mile High.
Are you putting money on that?
I should get on there and put something down. I wonder what the odds are on that.
I don't know, but the air's thin, so the ball travels farther, right?
Yeah.
That's what they say in baseball anyway. So, and at this point, if I was Harbaugh, I'd be like, screw it. Go kick it.
Let him go for it. I might, no joke, I might throw like a $10 bet on that, depending on what the odds are.
Right. And you make excellent points. And this is certainly one of those that either team can win this game without a doubt. And I'm just excited to see how this falls out and to understand both these teams better through this game. All right. So next game is Steelers at Packers. Yo, is Big Ben done?
He needs to be.
I read an article yesterday that said that this everybody in the organization knew this was Ben's last ride. Did you know that?
Yes.
Felt like it, yeah.
I guess I missed that somewhere, that they put all the pieces in place to make one Super Bowl run, and he was going to walk away. It looks like they're a year too late. And to quote this article, I don't have the article, so I can't cite it, unfortunately, and give the author credit. But I liked what he said. He said, the only thing worse than giving up on an aging quarterback too early is doing it too late. I thought that was a pretty profound statement. I'm not a big Ben fan, and I'm not, a Steelers fan. You get tired of, like the Patriots, you get tired of them winning. I've been watching that happen since I was a kid, back in the 70s with Steel Curtain. I do like Mike Tomlin. I respect him as a coach. I respect the Steelers organization for what they've done, they stand for, but I'm not a big fan. But I hate to see guys go out like this. It's painful to watch. Then you watch, all of his teammates and all the fans, just, I don't know. They've got some serious offensive problems. Their defense isn't living up to hype. I don't know that Ben can say, that this kind of happened to Brady a couple years ago, and then Brady snapped right out of it, and nobody's ever said anything again. I don't think that's going to happen here. The Packers are getting their kinks all worked out. Big win against the 49ers last night to boost their confidence. Rodgers is having fun again. He's made it known he's having fun. And I'm not betting against him in Lambeau. I'm taking the Packers.
Yeah, with all the Big Ben stuff that's going on, he doesn't look like the same player he used to be. But also the Steelers just have so many injuries, and they have the rookies on the offensive line, and the offensive line is not good. And look, the shining star for the Steelers is Najee Harris. He looks like he can do everything from a rushing standpoint and receiving standpoint, but again, the offensive line makes things tough, right? And the defense, with the injuries that they had, they looked pretty vulnerable. They're going to need some of those guys to get back, but I don't think it's going to matter, because I think Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams and Aaron Jones are going to come in here at home against somebody that they beat in the Super Bowl 10 years ago, and I think they're going to put an ass whooping on them here.
Yeah, I agree with everything have I said. Packers moved to 3-1.
Now, is Adams going to play?
Yeah, Adams came back in that game last night.
Oh, did he? Okay.
Yep.
What a nasty hit. And I know some people were really appalled by it on social media. I don't think it was dirty. I think it was illegal. But I think he led with his shoulder and they made helmet-to-helmet contact. But it was still scary when I watched it, and it definitely rung his bell. So glad to hear that. I didn't realize he'd come back in. So,
and he was somebody that had taken a really hard shot. I mean, one of the worst helmet-to-helmets I've seen in my lifetime a couple of years ago. So as soon as I saw that, it was like, oh, shit, not again. Because I started thinking, as a Colts fan, I think Austin Collie, when I see guys start to get hit in the head a bunch like that, I was like, oh, shit, this can't be happening.
Yeah, for sure. Well, good. I'm glad he's good and able to play this weekend. All right, Bucks at Patriots. Mac Jones. Who? Mac Jones.
Jones, he sucks.
I don't know. I mean, he had 3 interceptions yesterday, but he didn't have a bad day. Other than that, he's young. Interceptions are going to happen to rookies. He was 30 for 51 for 270 yards and a touchdown. And against an experienced coach like Sean Payton. So I'm not down on the guy, but this week's going to be more of the same. And, I'm guessing Brady knows exactly. He knows too much to allow New England's defense to slow their roll. And now I know he's pissed off. I don't know if you saw the video after the onside kick yesterday. He's pissed. And dude, Brady has only lost back-to-back games in a row like twice in his career. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah, it happened once in New England and it happened last year. That does not bode well for the Patriots right now. It's not going to happen. Similar, the Saints game, I'm going with the Goats. I mean, the Bucks.
Yeah, it's hard to take the Patriots right now. With Mac Jones, that team just doesn't look like the offense can get it going at all. All those receivers and tight ends that they spend money on, they're just not making it happen in the pass game. And I don't know if it's the weapons or if it's the quarterback or the system in general. I don't know what's going on there. But the Patriots spent way too much money in free agency to look the way they look right now, both offensively and defensively. I thought they look better defensively, especially, and just hasn't looked that way. If anybody knows how to frustrate Tom Brady in the pocket, it's going to be Bill Belichick. But does he have the talent to get it done? I just don't know. The Bucks, you have to assume they get Antonio Brown back this week also. So that's just an added piece to what they already have. So Tom Brady going back to Foxborough, going to get a big win against the Patriots.
Yeah, I mean, all we had to do was just see Tom Brady at the end of the game this last weekend on the bench, looking down. That look he has every time he comes out there and he's getting ready to snap. They're going to be dialed in this week in practice, so I anticipate the Bucs to go in there and Brady's going to have a good homecoming there.
Yeah, I can't disagree with any of that you guys said.
Yeah, I don't know what the spread is for that game right now, but I will be taking the Bucs minus however many points they decide to get.
6.5.
That's
I'd take that all day. Yep.
Yeah, we're taking the Bucs, and you should too. All right, this also a candidate for game of the week. Raiders at the Chargers. Did you know that Herbert is the first Chargers quarterback to win his first start at Arrowhead? That's some pretty damn good company. We have Philip Rivers and Dan Fouts.
Yeah.
So I guess the two big questions are: the Chargers really this good, or are the Chiefs in trouble? And the Raiders are 3-0. Are they really this good? And we're about to find out. This is another game that's going to tell us a lot about both these teams. Big AFC West, unfortunately or fortunately, however you want to look at it, it's a big AFC West game with potential playoff consequences. This game could literally go either way. Chargers are home in their new home. Raiders are on the road, down the road, going back to their old home. So many twists, but I'm going with the salty veteran. Chucky forever. I'm taking the Raiders on the road.
I was just thinking about Brandon Staley and how, last year the Chargers were in so many games. They lost so many close games because Anthony Lynn was getting, time mismanagement or whatever the situation was. It was bad situational football from a coaching standpoint. And Brandon Staley has already shown that when it comes down to it and the games get close near the end, that he knows what to do. And him and his coaching staff have been able, they're 2-1 right now, a hard-fought win against one of the best teams in the NFL. And I think this is going to be another hard-fought game. I can't wait to watch this game. I think it's going to be really fun to watch. Both these teams are really good offensively. The Raiders look better defensively than I expected them to. As long as Derwin James had a a little scare last game. He's been unhealthy for the last couple years. So him going out of the game made me nervous, but he was able to come back in and finish that game. So, as long as Derwin James is healthy, I have a lot of faith in that defense. And I think that the Chargers can get the win at home against the 3-0 Raiders team.
I agree. This is going to be one hell of a game to watch. I'm excited to watch it, and I think Justin Herbert's going to have a great day, and the Chargers are going to come out on top.
All right. We got a little disagreement in the ranks, but we can all three agree it's going to be a hell of a game either way.
Yep.
Okay. Well, before we wrap this up, Hefe, how's your fantasy football this week?
Well, I have one guy left. Okay. It's the same guy that, was throwing for like 400 yards and 5 touchdowns every game last season and before he got hurt. So, hopefully Dak Prescott
has 7 touchdowns.
Yeah. Hopefully Dak Prescott can come out and ball out tonight, because I'm down by 48 points, I think.
I was going to say, do you need me to tell you? Because I know.
Yeah.
You're down 48.
It's looking rough right now.
Yeah. All right. Well, you're a good sport, man. I appreciate that. All right. That does it for this week. We want to remind you to please be sure to show us some love and like, share, and subscribe. Tell your friends and your grandma. And be sure to tell them that not only can they catch the weekly rundown, but also our fantasy show, Draft Central show, Thursdays at 4 p.m. Eastern on WUBI Ubiquity Radio. Find more information at WUBI.live. And it's never too late to join our Pigskin Pick'em Challenge. Find the link pinned at the top of our Facebook and Twitter pages at Horsemen Sports, or just search for Horsemen Sports on the ESPN Pigskin Pick'em site. We announce the weekly winners and each week on the show. And of course, we will see you back here next week for week 5. Until then, thanks for joining us. Enjoy the games. Deuces.